Landworks is putting their money where their mouth is. They are dropping 50,000 plus $50,000 USDC and 50,000 Enter token. So their own token, 50,000 of that and 50,000 USDC. Starting tomorrow, they're going to be opening their application. There's no information. You don't even know about this. This information isn't even out, but I'm giving it to you because they asked me for some help in getting this connected to the real builders in the community. They know that we provide a platform and a home for people who are really creating, really building. They're doing this $50,000. So what is it exactly? You're gonna find out tomorrow. I'm gonna be publishing a video all about it. But essentially, you're gonna be getting the opportunity to build whatever you want for the community. An open source, it can be an NFT gallery, it can be a venue, it can be a fashion gallery, it can be whatever they want, whatever you think. It could be a billboard setup, whatever you think would be valuable for the community. Basically, Landworks makes it easy for you to rent, but they're also going to make it easy for you to load really awesome curated builds onto your land. So they already have teams that they've partnered with that are like curated builders, but with this grant, they're going to be building out some very customized, they're going to be asking people to build out customized builds that are going to be open source and free for people to use to load into their land. So basically, if you're starting into the space, people always wonder, how's the best way to get started? If you ask me, the best way to get started is to collaborate and work and help build the space up from the ground up. There are funds out there. This is a perfect example, Landworks.
A few moments later.
How's everybody doing? We have this chance now to go over some important details on this Landworks grant. I think it's important because we're already getting some grant applicants submitted there. And there's already a lot of people, a lot of great ideas coming forward. And there's over $50,000 worth of grant funding here for anybody. You can have your basic skills on your scene builder. You could literally create something with the scene builder that you can give as an open source thing. Like literally, the limit here is only your imagination. What do you want to build? If you haven't already, go to landworks.xyz if you want to find out more details. They have a grants program section. And I'll basically go through a lot of the details, especially some more finer information that isn't necessarily on there. And if you have any questions at all, because this is something that's kind of frustrating, I'm kind of still figuring out about Twitter Spaces, feel free to request to speak. And you can ask that question, or if you don't want to talk out loud, you can always drop that question in our Discord or Twitch channel, which is live right now. So if you want to ask any questions, any specifics, if you feel like you want me to go more in depth on anything, just let me know. It's great to see some people in here, some very familiar faces. Kenji, good to see you. Madamus, good to see you. Awesome to see all the talented creators in the space looking at this opportunity, because honestly, I feel like people spend so much time chasing rug pulls, chasing the next big project. They don't take the time to really grab the opportunities like this. The ones that they don't take any equity, all they ask is for you to bring your creative abilities into play. And not only that, I think this is important for anyone who's out there listening to share this with your friends. This isn't something that you have to pay to apply for. If you have creative friends who are looking to get into the metaverse, these are the safest launch points, folks. You want to start, building some things. You want to get funding for your own land. People say, oh, land's so expensive. This is the chance. This is the opportunity that helped me get to where I am, and I want this opportunity to reach other people as well. So yes, as you know, we've been doing the Accelerate on Earth program, but I'm also working with Landworks to let people know about their grant program. So all of this is stuff that I just, I'm doing for free to get into the community and get as many people, because I really, this is my selfish belief, is that, and I'm not going to put myself as an altruistic person, there is a selfish intent around me getting this information out to my community. And my selfish intent is, I believe that if my community, my talented community, accesses these grants, they're going to grow, be very successful. and they're going to be able to donate more to my channel. No, but for real, they're going to be able to support more strongly the efforts that other people do, including myself, not just through a subscription, which is like the lowest form of support. I'm talking about like retweeting, sharing people our channel, sharing people what we're doing. Like, if you succeed and you get a grant from this, then you're gonna go tell somebody else, like, hey, you should go tune into this guy's channel. He's actually like teaching people how to access these things. So that's sort of my intent behind this. If I can make you win, then I believe I'm gonna win as well. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I will just be transparent about it. So I want you to win. I want you to take this. I get no pain is from me if you don't go for it, but there's certainly a gain from it if you do win it. So, you know, I hit up all my homies, Juxton, you know, all my talented homies. I want to see you grab that bag. There are some serious prizes up for grabs. We're not talking NFT prizes, folks. We're not talking about a DCL wearable. Don't get me wrong. I like me a DCL wearable, but I like some money a little bit better. Not gonna lie, I like to be able to have a little budget on hand so I can make some meta moment wearables, make some new features, do all sorts of things. I like to have those opportunities. Building, creating, that's my motive. I already see Koke is indeed already applying for the grant right now. I love it. So that means that would be the fifth. You know, this is a first come first serve basis, folks. This isn't something that's going to continue. So it's until the cash is up. There's $50,000 in USDC and 50,000 Enter tokens. And if you know Enter DAO, then you know why I love Enter DAO so much. They are like building this infrastructure to make renting land, accessing land much more accessible. So now whenever somebody goes into a DAO proposal for DCL and says, oh, I want to use this money to buy land, I just point them to Landworks. I say, hey, here you go. You can get a huge estate for $8 a day and do your job. Don't come at me with $10,000 grant for buying land. Don't do it. Don't do it. But with that said, maybe you can build up your own funds with this grant. And now that I see there's a good amount of people here, what's good? I will say one more time to restart the room. We are filling everyone in on this 50,000 plus USDC. Well, it's 50,000 USDC, 50,000 Enter. So over $50,000 in grant funding available for builders looking to get started in the space. It is called the Open Scenes Grant Program. Basically, what is the purpose behind this? Well, the purpose is to give people who are renting land and accessing land, particularly through Landworks. People are going there to rent land, but the next challenge is they don't know how to build. They want a really quality build to be put in. And ultimately, it's something where they want something easier. Not everybody has the background. So what did we do? Well, Landworks put up 50,000 plus in funding to say, hey, creators in the community, we know you're busy, but if you're willing to contribute one of your existing builds or a new build, we're gonna give you a piece of this money. All right, I don't know about you, but I like to make sure I'm earning at least $250 an hour. I calculate every action I do. If my actions aren't equating to $250 of value that I'm creating, whether that be in liquid capital or what I perceive as invested value in my business, if I'm not seeing that return, then it's not really worth my time. But if you look at something, if you look at something like this in that way, you could say, hey, here we go. We have a tier 1 grant. It's 2,500 USDC. If I spend 10 hours working on a build, I contribute to this, boom, I'm making $250 an hour plus, because that's not even counting the 2,500 Enter token. And yes, you could probably do it in 10 hours. Like, folks, you could build this with with whatever tools you have available, whatever your standard tools are, whatever you're comfortable on. But we're not asking for anything crazy. There's a couple different categories here. I'll go through them in a second. But the second tier is actually a 10,000 USDC tier. So you can actually earn 10,000 USDC. That means you and 4 buddies can put in 10 hours of work each, build something super dope, come out with solid little paycheck, little 2,500. Go on that little vacay. Take that vacay to Disney World you've been waiting on. Well, maybe not Disney World. Maybe you can go to Maybe you can go to something like Busch Gardens. Maybe you can't afford Disney, but $2,500, that'll get you to Busch Gardens. So either way, the funding is available, and it's all to say what you create can not only serve you, but also serve other people. So maybe you have a build that you've been intending on creating. Maybe you have a build that you have been creating and you're not even getting paid for it. You can use this grant opportunity to submit that build, have it be open source, use that build yourself, but also allow other people to tweak and use that as they please. That's the essence, that's the spirit of Web3, right? Is to have this sort of open source ecosystem. What's up, Nuno? And I'm welcome, as I said, any questions that come up along the way, feel free to ask me. I know we got people across channels, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. I'm keeping an eye on these chats, but if you have any questions or you want to request to speak, feel free. The key thing to remember here is that there are 2 tiers of grants for this Landworks grants. There's the tier 1, which is 2,500 USDC, and tier 2, which is 10k USDC. And both tiers also come with 2,500 Enter token. So really, why, as more people are exposed to the metaverse, we're definitely noticing a need for quality scenes that are being available to the public for hosting events, displaying their art, or just having fun. That is the stepping stone to then people building even bigger things. And on EnterDAO and Landworks, they even have a suggested builders program. So if you are a builder and you're like, hey, after they use my open source scene, I want to maybe bring them into my corner and have them work on with me further, you can actually get listed as a suggested creator on the Landworks website. So people who use your open source scene, maybe they want to expand on that, could easily be a direction for you to get more clients. So this is definitely an opportunity I think I want my community to be aware about, so that they can win and that they can then continue to help us build the space. I mean, it's like a garden, you have different plants in the space, and each one fuels the other. Each one is, we want to build a symbiotic ecosystem. It's not just about supporting the content creators. It's not just about supporting the onboarding of new visitors. Like, we have to support the builders and give them these opportunities to bring value into their court so that they can continue to do the amazing things that they're doing. So there are a couple different categories. You can submit for the NFT gallery shop, which enables users to showcase and sell their tokens. So literally you can be a gateway. If you already have something, a way that you've already been developing that, boom, some easy money. Just recycle that, build something that's for the people. Event venue or conferences, webinars, lectures, parties, party space. We are very familiar on how important the party space is. And that party space is sort of lifeblood to Decentraland. So if you have like a little venue space, just redesign it, do a little 1-2 on it. Hey, if you take less than 10 minutes, if you take less than 10 hours reformatting an existing build, you're making more than $250 an hour. If you have an existing build and you just take an hour to change it around, do a little 1-2 something on it, then boom, you just made $2,500 in 1 hour. God forbid you make 10K in 1 hour reformatting one of the possibilities are endless. We're not asking you to reinvent the wheel. We're asking you to contribute to the open scenes ecosystem that is only going to lift and make Decentraland an even better place. Coco says, I'm trying to upload my scene folder into the file upload, but it's too big. I don't want to submit just a screenshot. If that's the case, I will double check on that, how to exactly approach that. But what I would say, Coke, if you run into that, maybe my suggestion is to create a document that is like sort of a cover sheet document that is going to allow you to sort of list where all those links are. Maybe you have a Google Drive with that information, that link folder, all that kind of stuff. So create a cover letter and submit that as your one file. Absolutely, because I know how you feel, Coca. Sometimes you want to have, you definitely want to have your work formatted in the way that best represents your vision. I love the idea that somebody out here right now, we have a small community, but folks, we're directing this value directly. It's a main line. We don't have like the noise. I feel like sometimes the space can get so noisy because people don't mitigate what brings all that noise. I'm not gonna knock other content creators, but we do need to take an active effort towards mitigating the noise, because nothing against like how other people manage their social media, but even large, and I'm talking about mainstream social media platforms in like Web3 space, either they don't realize it or it wasn't the biggest problem to address. But anyone who's out here doing drop your ETH for a prize, anyone who's doing that, you're actually exposing your entire community to being farmed by bots. And that's what happened. If you look at the engagement on the Decentraland Twitter right now, it's very much bot infested. And it has a lot to do with that. It has a lot to do with that, folks. Not to say it won't happen otherwise, but when you start to drop things like those ETH addresses, then you attract the wrong kind of attention to your channel. So now that we don't have that, literally like it feels like we're in a Zen garden when it compares. So it is very nice. And look at the OGs, look at the people in chat that we have right now. Freaking, we had Last from here, Juxton, Pablo, Lance, like I can't even tell you, those people right there, Pepe God, like these are actually superstar builders in the community who I think are gonna definitely contribute some greatness here to these Open Scenes Grant program. I could definitely see that. Coke, I look forward to discovering your builds as well. I want to make sure I'm learning about everyone's builds, and you know, that's the community that I want to have. I don't know, like everybody has their own thing. If you look at if you ask me, and I'll end my tangent right here. If you look at the, like, I don't like knocking people, but I do like need to address some things that I feel like open our eyes as a community as to why certain things don't work. If you look at, like, I think every mass media company has the question to themselves, like, do we invest in the people who are in the space, or do we try to bring in our own ecosystem and try to convert them in? And personally, I think the best approach is to really invest in the space and support the people who are here and let your community come as they want, because if you look at something even like everywhere, CBS, NBC, Snapple, all of these people, they post and they create these things and they try to bring their communities in, and all they get is tongue and like down talking, you know, shit talking from their community. They're like, oh, look, you're buying into the scam now, blah, blah, blah. Like, how could you? Like, yeah, you're gonna get that, but like, you're gonna get that even more so when you, oh, nope, deny that call. You're gonna get that even more so when you, like, I feel like you're just you're shooting your foot out, you're shooting both your feet. You know, not only are you sort of like let's just like call the elephant in the room. Like, there was a post where Snapple is proclaiming they're the first ever game to be streamed in Decentraland, and they're like appeasing to their community. Like, they would never, like, I thought about this, they would never say that to Decentraland citizens, Metaverse citizens, because we know better. They know that. We know that. So they didn't say that for us. They said that for their community. But I think that's such a weak strategy to come from such a big company. Like, I think that they're better off, like, they had an amazing build. I honestly thought that the Snapple build was one of the best ones I've seen so far. I thought it was brilliantly branded. I loved the experience. I loved the kitty at the top. I loved the wearables. Thought it was really well done. But it's worth saying that if you want to really grow in this space, if we want to see Decentraland grow, we need to stop trying to bring in big brands for the sake of attracting the mass-minded. And I mean that in the way of the people who are going to comment on that and say, are you really going to, like, buy into this scam? Like, those people, they need to think for themselves. Like, we need to be investing our marketing dollar. We can work with Snapple, but work with Snapple not to attract the mass-minded. Work with Snapple to attract more builders. Let's get into the universities. let's get to these places where other creators like us are, and those people are gonna understand. We got Lastrom here stepping up. Love it. What's good, my brother? Lastrom, man, it's been a minute. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, man.
What is good?
How are you?
Dude, I know you're gonna definitely give me some truth right here. I'm doing well, but I know every time I talk to you, you bring some light to it. So please, how are you, brother?
I'm good. No, I just wanted to comment on the Snapple thing because we built that. I think there's a very big lack of, and maybe this just isn't for big brands, but a lack of understanding of what's happened in the metaverse. People have a short attention span, but they also have a short memory span. When, they might think that they're coming in and they think people from 2021 are OGs, when there's been people from 2018 in the space.
Truth.
I think every 6 months, there's like a new wave of people, and so maybe Snapple just didn't know that like people stream in Decentraland all the time, and that's a lack of knowledge for the agency prepping them probably, and that's where we as generals, centralized generation and OGs, original guardians, need to educate.
Yes.
Kind of getting to your other topic of like what's going on in the metaverse, how do you enter the metaverse, what do you do, and so when we try to build scenes for brands like this, it's a balancing act of how much they give us creative control, and then how much do they just tell us what to do, and some of that is they think they know, but they don't. So I think education is a huge piece of it. That's all I wanted to say.
Dude, 100%. And like I said, I didn't know that y'all were behind the build. Honestly, that was mind-blowing. The quality, the culture, the storytelling, everything was just obviously top. That's just like gold standard. And I think what Lastrom says is like so true. Like every 6 months we have a new wave of people coming in, and like it's really not, it doesn't matter so much who the OGs are, and I think it's more so like I commented on the post and I tried to make it a point that like, there are people, just like kindly in public mention on that tweet, just so anybody sees like, yeah, but by the way, Golfcraft has been around, like, not, but that doesn't mean that we should like start to disparage these brands that are coming in. We need to definitely support and be happy that they're there, but like as Lastrom said, we have to definitely make it a point to continue educating and being as such. Like it happens a lot with not coming off as like a gatekeeper. We don't want to do that. That's not going to be good for the space. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think, recognizing these things, and I don't know how we tell, a brand like Snapple or somebody that they aren't the first one to stream, or maybe we just give them a pass on it and continue to educate them on how to do the metaverse. I personally think, Gotham Chess was one of the streamers, and I used to go to fall asleep at night watching him play chess, and he was one of the influencers. And so, I don't know his story. I stopped watching when I got into crypto in 2018. So he is obviously pivoted his fan base and his streaming community to more. I don't even know. Maybe he's just for hire. I don't know. I wasn't part of that conversation.
Well, he was down for it at least. Like and honestly, I love that too. Like when I looked at him and he has the whole like chess thing going, like I was like, this is dope. This is a cool community to be bringing into Decentraland.
Totally. So I think the better we can educate people on what we can do in the metaverse, and that kind of gets to this whole grant and building system. And I put out a tweet last night working on something absolutely insane. I personally, it's gonna be a culmination of every piece of code that I've worked on. It's gonna go into this build.
Is this alpha? Is this alpha leak right now? Or are we?
Sort of.
Folks.
I can't say too much more. It will be a DAO proposal, so we're going for a DAO grant. But I definitely think builders need to be highlighted. I've been saying it for 2 years. Everyone comes in and it's like, wearables, not to knock or discount any of the success that they've had, but we we truly need experiences in the metaverse to survive and not become a cult following like Second Life. You know, Second Life was too early
100%.
in the internet age, and so now it's just a cult following. So like, let's build cool experiences so we don't become a cult.
Yes, exactly. That's where our focus needs to be. We need to focus on creating experiences, showing people that, and teaching people that as we do that. And Lastrum, you've always been a role model. I think everybody, shout out to the Last Slice. Lastrum was like one of the first people to ever build a collective around like sort of like decentralized build. Like he had built some of these earliest first builds people were building. They never met before. It was like a decentralized build team. Like, so, you know, just look at his track record, look at what he's doing, and the closest any builders out there, and the closer you can find yourself along that path, I guarantee you the better off you will be. You will find yourself in a good place.
I appreciate the words. No, I definitely want to toss it back to you because you've been so outspoken about Decentraland and onboarding people, and as much as, you know, you praise Last Slice, the builds we do, if we wouldn't be building things if people weren't coming in, and you're one of the massive major like entry points, I think, on social media into the metaverse space and understanding what it is and how to get started. So definitely want to come in and say kudos to you what you're doing. I mean, look, you're propping up this builder's grant. No offense, you don't build anything in the metaverse, right? Like, but you promote it like crazy, and so we need people like you, and you're honestly one of the OGs as well. So I want to hop in here and say, I love this. It's amazing. Anybody, please get the money, build cool stuff. Like, hang out in the metaverse, keep building cool stuff.
Yes. Thank you so much, Lastrum. That means a lot. Like, somebody who's been around this space has definitely seen people come and go. Like, appreciate that so much. Like, and I'm like, and last one's right. I don't build, folks. I don't build in the metaverse. Everything that I've built in the metaverse has come from collaboration, from community, from people working together, and ultimately, like, even the Decentraland Report, the reason it exists is because of a community effort towards wanting to capture the history and tell the story of all these amazing experiences and builds and how we experience them as we grow. And so, like, you know, the fact that we have this platform has just been to say, I want people to be connected to the best opportunities that are going to empower them as artists. I want the Decentraland Report to be a decentralized news network that gives those people an opportunity to be heard and have their story told, and not fall under the mistake, which is fair. It's a fair mistake to come in and think I'm the first person to do this. Like, it is a fair mistake, but at least we know we will have the Decentraland Report as a form of cross-reference down the line, so that creators like yourselves, who with this DAO grant can create the first whatever it may be, you know, in the metaverse, you can have that story told on this platform. And I'm excited to see that so many people are here, and I just want to reset and let everybody know what we're talking about here is, of course, there are the DCL DAO grants. There are the you know, you can apply for that. We're doing the Accelerate on Earth program every Thursday from 11 to 1 p.m. We're coaching people on their DAO grants. But this is a whole other channel for an opportunity. If you go for a DCL DAO grant, you might not be able to, for instance, like, this is a different framing of an opportunity. Let me give you just one pure example. In a DCL DAO grant, you wouldn't really be able to take a random build like a venue and submit it for an open source. Like, people, you know, I want $2,500 for a build I made. I'm going to make an open source, and here the community can have it. That you can't do that on a DCL DAO grant. On this kind of grant, you actually can. So you can actually apply for this and say, bring an existing grant that you have. And, you know, it can be a NFT gallery, a venue for a fashion runway show, a company HQ, an event venue. You can theme it after a specific, you know, collection that Enter DAO has called Sharded Mine. If you want to find out more details and read through this, you can go to landworks.xyz/grants-program. You can just go to landworks.xyz. You'll see the link there. It is a simple application form. It will not take you too long to fill out, depending on how far along in your build you are, but it is on a first come first served basis. Every 20 days they're going to review the application. So yes, I think it opened in 2 days ago. You have 20 days from then to get in your application, and I would suggest getting it in because there's already a lot, and there's only 50,000 here. So if you think about it, if there are 10 tier 2, if there are 5 tier 2 grants that go out, then that already exhausts the grant right there. If we have 10 tier 1 grants that go out, that's already half of it right there. So I don't really see this lasting more than 2 months, especially with the talent that we have in this community. There is a pretty simple process, so I don't think I need to beat a horse over the head. Are there any questions anyone might have from chat? Are there any ideas people have that maybe things that people want to see built? Maybe something if you're listening right now and you're like, geez, there's $50,000, I'm not a builder, but I would like to see something built. Maybe you want to give some ideas, feel free to suggest. There's a question right here. Koke says, yeah, we need the 10K grant because 2,500 won't be enough for what we want to do. Yeah, go for the 10K. Go for that. Shoot that shot. My project is me and my dev, so everything is done in-house. Perfect. Koke, get that. I want to see y'all get that win so that ultimately, like I said, you know that these are the opportunities that are going to be the safest bet for growing in this space. This is not going to be the last opportunity. So make sure that you're sharing this information. There is a pinned tweet on my page about this. If you retweet that, it will definitely help get that in front of other creators. And for every 10 retweets on that, I'm doing a mass airdrop. So if you don't know, we are anti-drop your ETH address here at the Decentraland Report. You can actually go to our expand channel, which is just expand.gg. It's XPA. You can actually find the link in my link tree in my bio on Twitter, or I just dropped I'm gonna drop the info in Twitch. You can opt in for rewards. We actually built this feature with a grant from Decentraland. They gave us $120,000. And so when I tell you the best way to grow in this space is by helping build it, when I tell you that we gonna make it, doesn't mean you're gonna make it to the sky. Well, we all are one day, right? But it doesn't mean you're gonna make it as in you're gonna win the lottery. No, we gonna make it means no, we're literally gonna make it. Here, take the shovel, take the hammer, we're gonna freaking make it. WAGME, we're gonna make it. That's what this stands for, at least here in this community. So we're gonna make it, folks, and I freaking mean that. And I believe that. Because we can make it. We have all the resources we need. I got 120K from Decentraland to build an automation feature that has, in the last week, saved me countless hours. I can't even tell you. We've been able to airdrop in mass over 500 wearables, and it took me no time. Every week, we automatically drop our own token that we made ourselves to our community on a social media platform. That doesn't happen. You can't get that on Twitter. If Twitter wants you to freaking put up your NFT as your profile picture, they're gonna charge your ass. And they don't even let you airdrop anything to your community. Folks, you can easily come in here on Expand and start opting in for free. Get those airdrops, those rewards, and within the next month or two, we're gonna have this feature ironed out and anyone is gonna be able to use it. Oh, and Expand gives you 90% of your revenue. And folks, I'm actually just partnered with Expand. Like, I work with them. They don't hire me, like, particularly. Honestly, the reality is, I was sick of Discord. It's not a place for content creators to build a content experience. And I was very lucky I discovered Expand, and it had everything that I needed. I met the CEO. I built a relationship with him. He's an amazing entrepreneur. He cares so much about the creators. He, like, everything he's asking is, well, will this serve he wants to, like, literally, and everything we build, like, at first I was like, I want a leaderboard. He built a leaderboard for our NF Tuesdays, so I wouldn't have to. I used to, for our scavenger hunts, tally these prizes up by hand, folks, by hand. I used to tally up all the score by hand going through Twitter. And then I got to expand, they built me a leaderboard, and then I could just like people's posts and that would give them points, and boom, solve the problem. And then I got this $120,000 grant from Decentraland to rebuild the DCL Report HQ, to fund my video editor, to build the automation of the features, the automation feature for NFT and our token drop. All these things. Like, I could never imagine having to raise funding from investors, lose a significant portion of my equity in the company, and I have to play the game of having to prove myself to what 99% of the time are people who don't understand what it even means to create something. They know how to put their money into some things they like or things they think are cool, but most of the time, I don't know if they really understand what it means to build something, because you see the value in what we're building more than the value of the return on investment. And when you can build under those circumstances, amazing things happen. And amazing things happen for creators who really deserve it. And you don't end up at the end of the line with a small amount of equity, having raised capital that was too expensive. And there's not all capital is worth the same, folks. A $50,000 grant is worth 10 times as much as a $50,000 investment from an investor, I guarantee you. And with the condition of saying it's a 20-day cycle to get funded, or in Decentraland, it's a 2-week cycle to get approved, I don't know if people realize how unheard of that opportunity is. You don't get that. At least in the 8-9 years that I had as living on entrepreneurship and being a creator, like, that opportunity never came to me until I met the metaverse, and now Web3 is opening that up. It's not a sham, because the reason why this is possible is because of the nature of Web3, that it isn't, creators building for consumers, it's creators and communities building together. So the reason why this exists isn't some goal to get you on my mailing list to get you to buy my freaking course that I'm gonna email you. Like, that's not the case here, folks. You can take the value that I'm giving you here, you can take it and you can never talk to me again. You can leave. You can do whatever you want. You can just say, hey, this is just my next step in the journey, and I would never think of you less for it. That's actually my mission. If I see that over the next months, no one reaches back out to me, but I see massive amounts of building happening, I see people getting grants, I see people growing, then that's mission accomplished. Then that automatically, I don't even need you to come back to me for me to benefit from that. Let's be real. Like, that's the transparent selfishness I want to give you. Like, I don't even need to get anything back from you for me to be successful. You get this grant, you go be successful. I believe truly that I'm gonna win. So that's like the sort of approach that I've taken, that I welcome you all to take as well, because I find that it works very well in Web3. It doesn't really work so well in Web 2 for many reasons. I think a lot of it to do with a lack of transparency around and automation around the reward structures that can be easily abused in Web 2, whereas in Web 3 there is a little bit of a harder time. It can be, but it's still a harder time, and it makes it a bit more transparent and trusting on how I get value as being part of a community. So y'all, I don't want to take up too much of your time. If there are any questions, feel free to drop that in the Discord. We have a DCL Report Discord. You can always drop it in there. You can always DM me on Twitter. If I'm not following you on Twitter, please tweet me so I can follow you back, because I like to make sure I'm following all the creators, and so I can follow what you're doing. And I typically throw a little bell there so I can retweet and support what you're doing just as much. Much love, y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Aaron, Pablo, Juxton, Lastrum, Koke, Crypto Angel. Appreciate you. Animator Kirk, Scott, Inna, Nas, Valiant. I love shouting you all out, because all of these people are freaking legends. I feel like I'm a legend by being here with you. Bear with us, Sawhead. I appreciate you. Pepe, Ikram, my brother, my 999 brother. 3 Event, Madamus, Scorch, Ajica, Felipe, HS, appreciate y'all. Thank you everybody who stopped through on Twitch as well. 9A, appreciate y'all. Jumpin' Spider, and make sure to follow, support my channels if you can. If you're not already, I feel like all you are, because you're all really ride or die homies. Appreciate y'all being here. And yeah, I will be back tomorrow, streaming tomorrow at 11, just doing some good old weekend chills. So, and I'm curious if anybody wants to see me, like, I do game, and I was thinking about like doing some live stream gaming into the HQ, not necessarily like on live, but like I do want to start doing some blockchain gaming. I know I'm gonna be doing Aradina. I don't know if you've ever heard of Aradina. It is a medieval metaverse, sort of what they call, what I've learned the term for is called a hex battler. A card, it's kind of like Civ 5 meets Hearthstone, but it's like medieval strategy, like Age of Empires kind of vibes. It's very dope. Aradena.io. Not a sponsor yet. I do want to do some online gaming with them, so if you're listening on Aradina, hook your boy up. Come on, I'm willing to do some work here. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go drink some twisted teas and enjoy my weekend, y'all. Peace.